Hey there folks, I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. We have finally got the Sam Adams Winter Classics 2019 Variety Pack. I know this has been showing up in some other places a little sooner than it did around here in central Maine. Dylan, TJ, guys, thanks for keeping me in the loop. I think some other folks have commented and posted saying they've seen it around, but I know I've heard directly from you guys. It is now Thanksgiving Day, November 28th, and the Lady Plantain picked this up for me yesterday when she was out doing the grocery shopping. That lady is a saint for doing grocery shopping the day before Thanksgiving, and for picking me up beer at a grocery store she doesn't usually shop at. So I think she might have been around looking for this. Not that she'd admit it, but she was at least looking for something. Maybe it was the beer. Anyway, she's a saint for shopping in the first place, and doubly appreciated for picking this up for me. So yeah, it just recently came out sometime this week, apparently. So I will probably be posting this next Friday. I gotta edit and everything tomorrow, and I've already got something queued up for tomorrow. So, all right, enough about that. Now on to the good, the bad, and the ugly about this pack. Let's start with the bad. The bad, it's the same lineup as last year. So nothing new, nothing different. The good, that lineup includes Winter Lager, Chocolate Bock, Holiday Porter, and Old Fezziwig. One of my favorites that I can only ever get in the Winter Variety Pack. I wish they would put this thing out in a 6-pack. I would stock up on it to make it through the whole winter. The ugly. The fact that it's the same lineup as last year means that we got Sam 76 in here again. Look, it's not a bad beer, but this is my own personal red-headed stepchild. This fucking beer does not belong in the fall and winter packs. I can see it in the summer. I'd even allow it in the spring, but it's like the old days when we used to get Boston Lager and Sam Adams Light in the variety packs. It's a good beer. It's a solid beer. I just don't want it in my packs with the heavier beers. Boston Lager isn't all that heavy itself, but it is the flagship for Sam Adams. I know, Sam 76, they're trying to turn that into another flagship. It's got a wide appeal. A lot of people like it. It's easy to drink. It doesn't offend anybody. But it does not belong in here with all these dark, heavy beers. Now, I might not be done with that ranting. I've had 4 whiskey drinks over the course of the day. That's sitting on top of Thanksgiving dinner. And it was, like I said, over the course of the day. So I'm not feeling it, but something tells me it's doing its work on my brain. So, besides the beers that I mentioned earlier, yes, the Boston Lager and the Sam 76 are in here. We are, of course, going to start with the Sam 76, being the lightest beer in the pack. And again, far too light for a winter pack. Please, stop fucking putting it in here. It doesn't belong. There we are. A nice, light yellow looking, slightly hazy, very effervescent beer. It's got a nice, crisp, clean aroma, maybe slightly citrusy. A small hint of a grainy mustiness in the finish, or in the finish of the aroma. And there it is. Smooth and crisp, easy to drink, slightly citrusy, with a nice crisp finish, little grainy, but again, it's just an easy to drink, basic beer. It's getting a 2.5 out of 5 from me. I my personal level of being offended by it being in the winter pack makes me want to score it lower, but I have to admit it's a nice average beer, and it's a great alternative to Budweiser or the lighter ones, Bud Light, Miller Lite, any of those other beers that are out there, the nice domestic beers. And that's probably the market position they're going for with this. But don't use my goddamn variety packs to push it. Offer it by itself. Anybody who's going to buy it is going to buy it. You don't need to put it in the holiday pack to try and get them to start buying it. We've seen this thing in every variety pack for at least a year now. I think a year and a half, maybe even 2. It's been introduced to all the beer drinkers who are going to want to buy it. And they'll buy it by itself. Get it the fuck out of there. Bring back one of the other winter beers. I'd even take White Christmas in here over this. Anybody who's actually watched me do any of the variety pack videos, this is all sounding very, very familiar, I'm sure. But Sam 76, solid beer. I give it an average rating because I don't dislike it, but I'm not crazy about it either. I want it out of my goddamn variety packs. So, that's enough about that. I will try not to go back onto that. I'm going to finish this one up. And we will follow it up with the next. I believe the lineup I went with, and this might change on the next segment, but I believe I went to the Boston Lager, then the Winter Lager, then Old Fezziwig, Chocolate Bock, and Holiday Porter. Now, the Chocolate Bock and Holiday Porter have a similar density to them, but I put the Holiday... I put the Holiday Porter last because its IBUs are slightly higher. Tastes like turkey and stuffing all over again. Anyway, like I said, I'm finishing this one up, and we'll bust out the Boston Lager. Yeah, that took all of 2 seconds. So, next up, another beer that's going to take a little bit longer to get down because we are going to take our time savoring it. Sam Adams Boston Lager. There's probably no surprises on this one. Again, if you've seen me do a variety pack before, you know where I'm going with it. Because it keeps getting brewed the same, so my opinion of it does not change. Gotta remember to rinse these bad boys out. Gonna need to replace some of the bottles I gave away with my last batch of home brew. So I need to have a few kicking around. Thanks, by the way, Jay, for turning me on to the Sam Adams bottles. For one thing, they're always in plentiful supply in this house. And for another, you're right, they do fill very easily, and it looks like they're going to stand up to at least 3 or 4 batches. It's great. So yeah, I'm going to rinse these guys out and reuse them, except maybe for this guy. He might just get tossed and returned. Him and his partner in here. I just feel like they're tainted by having the Sam 76 in them. Not so much tainted by the beer itself, but tainted by their presence in my 12-pack. Yeah, those two might just get chucked. We'll see. Depends on how I'm feeling about them in the morning. But Sam Adams Boston Lager, a nice, clear, yet effervescent, a bit of a golden brown color. It is a beautiful beer. Smells good too. Little malty, little hoppy, but nothing too overstated in the aroma. It's just got this nice general beer smell to it. But it hits all the notes. Like I said, hoppy and grainy. Nothing overpowering. Just a nice blend. Nice big mouthful of that. You get the graininess, you get the hoppiness, there's a hint of sweetness. There's nothing wrong with this beer. It's just really well put together. And again, there's no particular taste that jumps out there. There's no particular flavor. It's Sam Adams Boston Lager flavored beer. To put it simply. It's just a perfectly balanced, really well put together beer. This one's always a 5 out of 5 from me. Back in the day, my friends and I just used to drink whatever cheap beer was on tap until EM Destroyer, I believe, was the first of us to make the switch to Sam Adams Boston Lager. Burp. Sorry. That Thanksgiving dinner's still coming back at me. This time I got a hint of gravy. But yeah, after he made the switch, the rest of us just kind of started. And I think it was their badass ad campaign that really got us going on it. But then the beer just wound up being so much more flavorful than anything we were drinking up until that point. And that was kind of the springboard for us branching out into different beer styles. So, yeah. Thank you, Sam Adams Boston Lager. Perfect 5 out of 5 from me. Not just because of the nostalgic angle, but because this is a perfectly balanced, well put together beer. I'm going to take my time and savor this one, and then we'll grab the winter lager. I'm guessing by the chill in the air that the whiskey has started to wear off, so now we're just cruising on beer. Could be wrong, but just in case, let's get another one into me. This is Sam Adams Winter Lager. Again, this is the same thing we've done last year, so there shouldn't be any real surprises. Although I might rate it slightly differently. I mean, it does happen from time to time, depending on the mood I'm in, what I'm drinking, and what else I might have had recently to compare it to. The winter lager is usually up there for me. In the colder months, I do tend to like the heavier, darker beers. Not that this one is ridiculously heavier dark. If you look there, it's definitely got a darker brown than the Boston Lager. It's slightly less effervescent, but it's still clear. It's not murky or anything, just darker. Nice general graininess. I think I am picking up a little bit on cinnamon. I don't always get any of the spices that are in this, but I think this time I'm actually picking up on the cinnamon. Heaviest mouthfeel of the beer so far. The Sam 76, of course, is nice and light. The Boston Lager is kind of medium light. I think I used to refer to it as a medium mouthfeel, but given the plethora of dark, heavy beers that I've had over the years, I think I'm looking at the Boston Lager as more of a medium light. The Winter Lager, we're closer to medium. It has got a little bit heavier mouthfeel than the Boston Lager. It goes down with a nice graininess, and then there's just this nice burst of holiday spices. Now there's cinnamon, there's ginger, and there's orange peel, and you can pick up on all three of them, but not necessarily all of them at once. I mean, there's a point where they start blending, but they kind of rotate on the palate, so that you're getting hints of each one at different times. Winter Lager, good solid 4 out of 5 for me. I really like it. I usually look forward to it every year. I like getting 1 or 2 on tap if I happen to be at a restaurant that's serving it. It's a damn good beer. So I'm going to finish this one up, and we're going to move on to the chocolate. No, we have not gotten that far yet. We're doing Old Fezziwig next. Now I'm excited. Well, I might be making some mistakes here. After pacing myself really well all day, having the 4 whiskey drinks over the course of the afternoon and evening, I've just drank 3 beers in the last 60 minutes. That's an hour, folks. Granted, they're not too heavy ABV beers, so it should be all right. But I just took the Aleve and downed a couple of glasses of water. Going to be drinking some more water because I have a feeling all of this is going to be catching up with me in the morning. Yeah, I got the next 3 days off work. Going down to the local fireworks store for their Black Friday sale, 50% off everything in the store at Pyro City. If you're in the Central Maine area, make sure to hit them up. I don't know why I'm telling you that, because by the time I post this, it'll be far gone. It's going to be like a week later when I post this. All right, I am rambling. I don't feel drunk, but I am acting drunk. So I might have been rushing a little bit too because I wanted to get to Old Fezziwig. So I probably will slow down after this. I look forward to this every year, and when it's not in the winter variety pack, which I think it's been at least a couple of years since they didn't put it in, I get so disappointed. And of course, you can add to that constant disappointment of not being able to buy Fezziwig in 6-packs every year. Here's a suggestion. If you're not going to put the Old Fezziwig in the 6-packs, get rid of the fucking Sam 76 and give us 2 more Fezziwigs. I'll take 4 of these bad boys in the holiday pack anytime. And, 2 of everything else except the Sam 76. I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. Or you could just give me a fucking 12-pack of Old Fezziwig. That would be awesome too. But, anyway. A little bit darker than the Holiday Porter. Does have a bit of a reddish tinge to it. Still not hazy, but there is not very much light coming through there typically. It is slightly effervescent. There are some bubbles coming up through there. It just has a unique aroma. I'm going to read the bottle here. I like the character that inspired it. I think I've done this every year that it's been in this pack, but this beer is festive and worthy of a celebration all its own. Bursting with spices of the season, its full body accompanies a deep malt character with notes of sweet toffee and rich dark caramel. I don't know if I've ever picked up on chocolate, toffee, and caramel. I was like, I knew it was caramel and some other candy, but anyway. Just this general unique aroma. It's got the candy aroma, it's got the spice aroma, and I usually pick up on the holiday spices more than candy. I think now that I've read the label and I know it's supposed to have some sweet notes that's making me pick up on them, I don't know. But I can't really compare it to anything. I think, was it Harpoon's Winter Warmer? There was a beer that somebody else recommended either last year or the year before that they said tasted a lot like Old Fezziwig, and it was close. I want to say it was Harpoon's Winter Warmer, but it might have been something from Sierra Nevada or another company. But anyway, Old Fezziwig does remain unique in terms of the aroma and the taste. Nice medium mouthfeel. I am not really picking up on the toffee and caramel notes. What I get is I get a nice, like I said, medium mouthfeel swallow and some graininess. And then in the finish, there's just this unique holiday spice blend that I can't really pick out any particular character for, and I can't compare it to anything that I've had before. Maybe it's just the way everything blends together that gives it that unique taste, but it doesn't taste like anything else out there. No surprise, Old Fezziwig is always a 5 out of 5 from me. Because of its uniqueness, because of how much I enjoy every aspect of the beer. And I think maybe its scarcity does play into this for me a little bit, because I look forward to it every year because I can't get it any other time. And the fact that it is in the variety pack, and you only get 2 bottles in the variety pack, means that I can't stock up on it and drink it all winter. I mean, I could, but then I'd have all these other beers backlogging and I wouldn't be able to move on to new stuff. Every time I turn around, I got something new in the fridge. But I digress. Old Fezziwig, perfect 5 out of 5. I look forward to this thing every year. I would love to be able to get more than 2 of them at a time and just stock up, because I would drink this, maybe not during the warmer months, but I would definitely drink it for at least 6 months out of the year. Anyway, I actually am going to savor this one and take my time with it. I am not going to down this in 20 minutes because, again, its scarcity does make it special. When I'm done with this, we're going to move on to the chocolate Bock, I believe. Yeah, like I said before, the holiday porter's got more IBUs, so I am going to move on to the chocolate Bock after this. All right, so we are up to another holiday favorite of mine. I think I've said that about several beers in this pack. The chocolate Bock. Oh, man. And they've done the chocolate cherry Bock, and I believe there was a coffee variation of this as well. Both awesome beers, but the original chocolate Bock is always a nice, solid addition. Again, I'm a little disappointed that there's nothing new in this holiday, winter classics variety pack, because they are mostly classics. They are mostly winter beers. Again, Sam 76 does not belong here. It is neither a winter beer nor a classic. It's fairly new. But the winter lager, holiday porter, chocolate Bock, and old Fezziwig, those 4, glad to see them every year. Boston Lager, of course, being the flagship, belongs. I would just like to see at least one new beer in each seasonal pack. Fall, we got the Cosmic Sour, which isn't necessarily a fall beer, but at least it was new. There's nothing new here. It was the same thing as last year. And CM76 has taken up a slot that we could use for a new beer. Anyway, off of that, again, for now, until the next beer comes out. But the chocolate Bock, nice holiday classic. Getting darker now. Still a tinge of red from whatever light is coming through there. It's got a little bit of a reddish hue to it, but mostly just a dark brown beer with very little light coming through. Can't really tell how effervescent it is because I'm not seeing a lot of bubbles coming up through, but again, where it's so dark, I wouldn't see them anyway. And it's got a slight head on it. And it smelt of chocolate. It's kind of subtle and a little bitter. It's like a very high cocoa, I never know how to pronounce it. Cocoa or cacao, because it's not spelled like the typical cocoa like we see in the US, but like a high cocoa content dark chocolate. I mean, you've seen the Lindt little bars, 60%, 90%, whatever, darker and darker. And they get more bitter and roasty as you go up in the percentage of cocoa or cacao. It's spelled cacao as far as I'm concerned, but I believe it's pronounced cocoa. I've never actually heard it spoken out loud. I've only read it on the wrapper. Anyway, it's got an aroma like one of those higher cocoa or whatever content dark chocolate bars. Just a very roasty, slightly bitter aroma with a hint of chocolate in the finish. But when you taste it, nice medium heavy mouthfeel. Up front, it's just this smooth, dark, heavy beer. But then after you swallow, you get a hint of some roasty notes. And that dark chocolate flavor comes through in the finish. It's good. It's like, again, the same aroma comes through in the taste. It's a dark, heavy, medium heavy mouthfeel, but heavy chocolate, roasty, bitter, dark chocolate flavor. I mean, it's distinctly a beer up front, but then in the finish, you get that nice chocolate flavor. Very, very good. It is, however, a one-trick pony, which is why this only gets a 4 out of 5 from me. I'm not quite ready to bump it up to anything higher because I've had plenty of beers that taste like chocolate before. I mean, it's a trick you can use with the malt. It's something you could do by adding a few things into the brew. It's mostly just a highly roasted malt, giving it chocolate overtones. But it's a good chocolate Bock. But again, it's not unique or mind-blowing enough to get it a full 5 out of 5, but it is sitting at a solid 4 out of 5. Great beer. Definitely check it out. I'm going to be drinking this one hopefully more slowly. I said I was going to drink the old Fezziwig more slowly, and I seem to be on the same pace as I was before, and then the whiskey seems to be kicking back in. So I am definitely feeling everything tonight. So I'm going to finish this one up. And then we move on to the 6th and last beer in this pack, the Holiday Porter. And last, but certainly not least, we have the Holiday Porter. Dark and robust is all it says on the label. 5.8% ABV. It's not really fair. I haven't announced the ABV on the other beers. 40 IBUs, which is why it wound up behind the chocolate Bock. But this is a mainstay in the Sam Adams winter packs. Just for the sake of, the hell of it, let's go through these. Sam 76 is 4.7% ABV. Does not list the IBUs because it's so fucking low, it's not worth mentioning. Boston Lager, which was our second, it comes in at 5% ABV and 30 IBUs. Winter Lager, our third, 5.6%, a little higher, and 22 IBUs. So lower than the Boston Lager, but honestly, at 30 and 22, not enough to really make a big difference. Old Fezziwig, 5%, 5.9. They've been going up. No wonder they've been hitting me harder. 5.9% ABV and 25 IBUs. Chocolate Bock, 5.8%. 6.8%, my bad. Yep, ABV, and 11 IBUs. So again, they dropped. But also, like I said, we're working with 30 and lower. Not really that significant. And the Holiday Porter, 5.8% ABV, 40 IBUs. Now, Bocks and Porters are pretty comparable in terms of their heaviness. The only reason the Holiday Porter got put behind the Chocolate Bock is because it's slightly higher in IBUs. Which, again, we're still operating at a level. We're only looking at 40 IBUs. We're still at a level where it's not going to be a huge impact and wreck your palate for another beer behind it. Yes, I do rinse with water in between each of these. Cleanse with water, which means I drink about 4 to 6 ounces, roughly. Also a good way to stay hydrated so that you don't get hungover, hopefully. But tonight's kind of been a binge night, so that could happen anyway. But that's enough about that. I don't really know what the point of that whole tirade was. I guess it wasn't a tirade. It was more of a, exposition. I don't know what the point of that whole exposition was other than to demonstrate how fucking drunk I actually am. Because like I said before, those 4 whiskey drinks seem to be catching up with me, although I felt completely sober before I started this. We're also 6 beers in, so I'm pretty toasty. which is good because it's fucking cold tonight. There we are. Holiday Porter. Very dark beer. Dark brown. It doesn't quite have the reddish tinge that the old Fezziwig did. Mostly brown, but still darker than any of these beers so far, including the chocolate Bock. Very little light coming through, although what does come through is quite clear with a brownish tint to it. Can't really tell how effervescent it is because I can't see any bubbles coming up, but it does have a slight head on it. Gave it a couple of good glugs when I was pouring it out, but wasn't quite able to maintain a very robust head. Sorry, I got hiccups starting. I'm trying to tamp them down here. Only two things that cause hiccups, folks, are a dry throat and a fluctuating diaphragm. So if you can stay hydrated, wet your whistle a bit, and regulate your breathing, you're in good shape. I think I'd got rid of them before they really got established. So anyway, getting some roasty notes. Maybe some hints of holiday spices, but not anything too significant. Medium heavy mouthfeel. Again, back in the day, I probably would have called both of these a heavy mouthfeel, but I have had some really viscous heavy beers in the intervening years. Some imperial stouts, imperial porters that you have to chew those fuckers before you swallow them, and this isn't quite on that level. So I'm saying it's medium heavy, not quite heavy. Smooth. Somewhat crisp for a winter beer, or a heavier beer such as a porter. Which makes it very easy to drink. Maybe I didn't cleanse with quite enough water because there's nothing really coming forward. Holiday Porter is a solid porter. It's just a dark, heavy, delicious beer. Oh, I just needed to run off at the mouth a little bit because now I'm getting some roasty notes. A little bit of coffee. Slight hint of hoppy bitterness, but not much, and no distinct flavor, or no distinct hop notes coming through, just a slight bitterness, hoppy bitterness, versus the chocolate bitterness that we get from the chocolate Bock. Roasty, little smoky. It's nice and reminiscent of a wood fire, which someday I hope to have in here. I don't know. It's a double wide. We got propane for heat through the furnace. It'd be nice to have some kind of pellet stove or even like a full-on wood stove. I got plenty of trees out back I could cut for and split for wood, but man, is that a pain in the ass. Anyway, I'm getting way off track at this point. Hope you guys appreciate the side commentary. I don't know. I wouldn't. Be a pain in the ass for me. But the interest is keeping it as short as possible and wrapping this up. Holiday Porter, another 4 out of 5 for me. I love the dark, heavy winter beers, and this one's definitely something that belongs in this pack, unlike Sam 76. But a nice, solid winter pack. Despite the fact that it's exactly the same as last year, there are no new beers in that. Fucking Sam 76 is in there. it's still a good pack. We've got 2 5 out of 5s, the Boston Lager and the Old Fezziwig. Sam 76, despite its lightness and its lack of belonging in this pack, is still a good average beer. So it's not something that I dislike. Winter Lager, Holiday Porter, and Chocolate Bock, all solid offerings. If you want some dark, heavy beers besides the Sam 76, if you want some beers to drink during winter besides the Sam 76, this is your pack to go to. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sierra Nevada and some other breweries, Long Trail, they're all going to have some great, solid winter packs. But for me, the Sam Adams one is pretty much always a winter, pretty much always a winner in winter. So I can't fault it. Even with the Sam 76 in there, I can't fault it. Worst case scenario, pluck those fuckers out of there, throw them in the bottom of your fridge, and leave them there till summer, which is when they should be drank. But that's just my opinion, along with a little bit of rambling. Hit me up down in the comments, the email link down below. Love to hear what you have to say about these beers. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Till next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. Fuck Sam 76. Put it in its own pack and get it the hell out of my variety packs. Cheers, bitches.